の洞窟のズバットが集める木の実はポケモンの万能薬になるぜ。
本当？
モリー、9時きっかりにルナトーンに願い事を叫べば願いが叶うんだぜ。
本当？最高のポケモンドクターになりたい。そうだよ。
Alright, my friends, Pokemon Horizons episode number 76, and this was a filler episode. Now, when it comes to filler episode in Pokemon, it's very take it or leave it, hate it or love it, very good or very bad. And the bad is typically not bad, because I think this is just a bias, but I think even the bad, quote unquote, is still cute. And because it's cute, it doesn't make it bad, but it does sometimes make it boring. So it can be boring, but cute. And I think that's what we always get with Pokemon is you're either going to be interested in the subject matter that they are talking about, referencing in a side episode, and it may or may not be interesting. Now, I will say this specific episode, although wasn't like the best episode in the world, it did feature some really cool Pokemon in Farigiraf. So I really like I love Farigiraf, okay? I think Farigiraf is an awesome new Paldean Pokemon. It also did feature Espatra, which I have a love-hate relationship with that Pokemon just because the little shiny in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet took me forever to actually get. But it did feature these two really cool Paldean Pokemon, and it featured what happened when psychic powers collide. It kind of causes like a distortion in a way, which kind of makes sense. So I really like that as well too. The main purpose of this episode though was we need to find Entei. That's the very next thing we need to do is we need to go and we need to find Entei. So Freed had an idea to call up a buddy named Cyano, and he was a former Rising Volticur before. And he is a occultist. Essentially what an occultist is, at least in the story of Pokemon, it's kind of relative to the real life, but essentially it's somebody who believes in the occult, and that kind of drives the way that they view the world. And of course, because he runs a newspaper article online, forum where he posts his stuff, some truth, some not truth, but all of which he believes in. But this is all very much filtered out by his Pokemon Why-Not. So if you're familiar with him in real life, then the Why-Not is going to give you a hint on whether he's talking out of his ass or whether he's telling you the truth, which I think is a really cool thing too. And he was able to, get Liko and Roy and Dot and take them on a little adventure. Probably my favorite part of this episode was seeing Mollie and Mollie's past and how close she was to somebody before in this Cyano character, which I thought was really cool. We got to see a very much younger version of her, probably somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 15 years old, somewhere around there. A much younger version of Mollie and how she was innocent and kind of believed stuff, kind of like a kid does. And maybe even kind of likes this Cyano character more than she lets on, which I thought was a really cute thing to do too. About 75% of the way through the episode, one of the things I realized as well is one of the things that makes Pokemon Horizons so unique in comparison to its peerage into the past Pokemon content that we've had before. One of the things that makes it so unique is we actually get a lot of adult characters. So we've gotten a big story with Liko's grandma. We've gotten a story with Liko's dad and mom. But we continue to have characters like Murdoch, like this Cyano character, a consistent character in Freed, a consistent character in Mollie, right? A consistent character in, I think her name is Orla or something. But we get consistent characters that are adult characters. Now they're not exactly, really old, but we get really adult characters, and we get their storylines. They're consistent throughout the anime, and as opposed to the older content we would get, it was very much Ash and his compadres, whoever those people were. The oldest person in his groups typically was Brock, who was like 15 at that time. We may have gotten a adult character here and there, Professor Oak, his mom, many of the other professors, but consistently somebody that was like a returning character, part of the group, the larger group. Yes, it's the three kids, but we have this adult character. I was like, you know what? I think that really separates the show from what we've gotten in the past before, because there's somebody that you can, if you're older watching this, you can kind of empathize with more, and you can kind of see, okay, how would I live in this world? Oh, okay, well, Mollie's doing this, or Murdoch's doing that, or, this Orlick character's doing that, or Freed was a former Pokemon professor doing XYZ, they're leading the next generation, they're, leading the next generation of trainers and kids and everything. This is you can kind of see how you would live, maybe you would have a family here and what that would pertain. Maybe you'd be an artist like Liko dad, or maybe you'd be teaching at the school like her mom, or maybe you'd be a crazy adventurer, like in retirement, like her grandma. It's just cool to see some of the things and consistent things that Pokemon Horizons does for us that doesn't get enough love or talked about. So just to put a wrap on it, I like this episode a lot. I thought it was a fantastic episode. I would put this one about an 8 out of 10. Really enjoyable. Wasn't bored. Was led throughout the whole episode, and I just really thought I was very engaged with this episode, and I appreciate seeing not only Pokemon that I'm really interested in Farigiraf and the other Pokemon, Espatra, but then also seeing this brand new character that they introduced and then took away at the end as well too. So. All right, friends, I'm going to see you guys next week for episode number 77 as we get closer to Entei. All right, I'll see you then. Peace.